everybody, how's it going? It's Codemaster Hard Rock here with another chaotic video, and today we're actually going to be going over this chaotic questionnaire that I made like about a week or two ago. I don't even remember how long ago, but point being, what I was trying to do is get the opinion of the chaotic community and seeing what the chaotic players want based on certain questions. And I did get a bunch of responses back. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about the individual questions and the overall results of them, and my general thoughts and opinions on certain things and what people said or what have you. I don't have the emails of these people because I feel like that's invading a little bit of privacy. But with that being said, we're going to hop right into it. So for the first question, okay, there we go. What is your favorite tribe? Okay. So about 41.7%, the highest, said Overworld was their favorite, followed by Marillion at 22.2%, Underworld at 16.7%, Danian at 11.1%, and Tribeless at 8.3%. I feel like that checks out, but I do think it's so strange that, well, I don't really know, the fact that Marillions are more light than the Underworlders, as somebody who's an Underworld player myself. But that's just me. That just seems surprising to me. Yeah, good shit. Good shit. Question number 2. What is your preferred format? 80.6% of people have said, oh, go away, pop up, have said that 6v6 is their preferred, followed by 3v3 at 13.9%. And then a tie for 2.8% at 10v10 and 1v1. I'm very glad seeing 6v6 is the preferred format, because as somebody who loves chaotic and has posted a few videos playing the game, you guys definitely see that I'm a 6v6 kind of guy. I definitely see the benefits of 3v3. It goes by way faster. But 6v6 is definitely more engaging. But that's my opinion. Okay, so for this one, this question, we're going to be seeing a lot of actual, like, replies. So they're not just statistics, but what people actually said. So with that being said, we'll hop on to this next one. What game mechanic do you believe should be more explored and why? So one thing that I mean when I say game mechanic, I mean something along the lines of invisibility, fluid morph, support, defender, you name it, stuff like that. So, what game mechanic do you believe should be explored and why? The game itself, I think chaotic needs to be more like the show. On one hand, that'd be cool, but on the other hand, I feel like the game itself is fine, but that's just my opinion. Creating more diversity for a deck functionally. Without this, the game becomes generic and repetitive. I will say, for those of you who don't know, I am working on my own card game where you'll have defensive options. Because I feel like every card game doesn't really have too many defensive options. But that's just my opinion. I mean, Music was made to be sort of defensive as far as, you know, playtesting goes. But that's just me again. Elemental boosts for deck synergy purposes. I feel like they did that with the last set, as well as what we are going to see in Fire and Stone. Because for an example, there's elements that are better against one another, and they specifically target another. For example, like Ember Whip, if an opposing engaged creature has water, it deals like extra damage or something along those lines. I think that's cool. Yeah, I agree with that. Creature abilities, such as Proboscar's ability to move in any space. I think what they mean to say is they should have more creature exclusive abilities, which I think would be cool. Now the question is, would we want it to be consistent across the board? So, like, let's say there was, like, I don't know, like Kaor, for instance. Like if he tossed his music counters, he can negate a target generic or overworld music targeting him. Would that be something we want to see consistent in the relaunch of the game? So when we get like a, the third retrain of Kaor, I believe we're going to totally get one. Because if we get Maxor, Protector of Param, and we're going to be seeing Thepsar and Azil, I fully anticipate Kaor. But, that's just me. As well as more tribeless creatures. I think that'd be cool. Because I really like tribeless stuff. I have disassembled all my decks, though, after I made my deck building videos. Mostly so that way I have something not only to discuss, but show you guys how I do things. But that's just me. And plus, I just generally prefer playing my Underworlders. Oh, my screen's a little bit dirty. But anyway. Next mechanic. Element 5, an Invisibility Strike, because I feel like too many decks are centered around one-shotting creatures. It doesn't involve much skill other than getting lucky. I feel like the idea of having consistency in your game is a good idea. So, if you guys don't know, on the Discord and the Chaotic Amino, my buddy Cam Kirk on there, he's super cool dude, love him, has a bunch of effects and stuff ideas. So, if you guys are curious what some ideas are, go on to the Discord and the Amino and hit him up. Very cool dude. He likes talking, so get in touch with him. More past creatures, yes. Expend. They were going to do that on Fire and Stone. And expend, what that means is you would toss an element or something, and you would get a certain benefit or effect. So, I think so. The support mechanic or invisibility. I think invisibility is just fine as is, but that's just me. Support. Support disciplines, I think that's cool. I feel like there should be stuff like that. I feel like there should be more stuff like that for certain tribes, specifically Underworlders. I think they should really do some power support. Because I think about Classic Navena, who gives 10 to all warriors on your team. I feel like there should be a creature where it's like you get X amount of power, X amount of courage, wisdom, speed, whatever. Just stuff like that. I believe there's so much potential in these abilities that simple putting stats on the effects is just scraping the surface of what these abilities can truly be. I feel like abilities can be expanded. I think that'd be really cool. Support, it was interesting for positioning. Yes, it really does make you arrange your board in a particular way. And I think that's really cool. That people can mess with their board and do whatever they want. I think that's really neat. Creature abilities that have to do with movement. There are good battle gears that need the creature to move before they could get the effects. I could think of an example where a creature and battle gear go really well, which is Nequin and the Buy Mower Cycle. The Buy Mower Cycle is like it gives you like range and swift or whatever. If you sack it, you get an extra. Nequin says, as long as he's unequipped, he gets untargetable on Water 5. That's a really good combo right there, because you can like jump to the back of the board and beat the crap out of your opponent's backboard, which typically is a Muge. If you're a traditionalist, you'll see Muges in the back of the board because they're typically weaker. And a lot of you know that I play to that certain style. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah, I think so too. Next response, I don't know really. I've been there. I know. More attacks, more variations in attacks, such as element and discipline combinations. Stuff like Flame Orb. I think that's a cool idea. Fire Ram. It's another cool, really good attack. Support discipline and energy and intimidate disciplines. Those abilities have a good potential. Unfortunately, there are enough creatures with high stats then just ignore the option of support abilities. And intimidate discipline is just terrible for not having a good option more than to gain initiative. On one hand, I sort of agree with that, but on the other hand, I feel like certain attacks require certain discipline checks and have certain things. So I feel like that could be expanded a little more with like future sets and stuff. But then again, people might just not even bother with it. I don't know. We'll find out. Support. We already talked about it. Fluid Morph to show new abilities to explore the limits. I think Fluid Morph should be touched on. However, I think Fluid Morph is a little inclusive. I feel like after the defeat of the Marillions, there should be other stuff like Terramorph, like for Earth, Pyromorph for Fire, and like, I don't know, Air Morph, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but that's just me. I really do think certain creatures should benefit from it. I really don't think it should be in everything, though. But that was a joke, though. Stats. There are some people who say they want fixed stats, which I've already talked about it. I think the varying stats make the game unique. However, I do feel like the no two cards are alike shtick. I feel like there should be cards that are similar. Because what if two people are chaotic and they scan the same creature at the same time? Shouldn't the stats be the same? In my opinion, yes. Recycle to not many options in how to use this mechanic. I don't know what they're trying to say, but that's okay. Something in Spanish. I can't read Spanish, so. Or French. It looks a little more French to me, but whatever. Maybe the attacking, because honestly going back and forth until someone dies can be a little boring. Like I said, in a way, I agree, because I feel like there should be more defensive options than just music. They don't remember the specific mechanics, that's okay. War Beasts. I love the fantasy of using giant monsters and the strategy of working around their unique drawbacks. Yes, we were going to get some in like Fire and Stone, as well as Storm and Sea. We are probably going to see dragons and stuff like that, so that'd be cool. Thepsar looks like he has a dragon in his art. For those of you who don't know, Thepsar is like the king of Mempedians. Yeah, fun fact, just not Prince Medina or Iflar. They're both princes, but their dad is Thepsar. And I think he's actually the first chaotic dad we actually see. No, there's a couple of dads. I take it back. There's a couple dads. But I think it's like the first like Mempedian family thing that we actually see. I don't know about the Client Sphere because I only skimmed through it. I'll make a video about it if I feel like it later. I think Expense should be more explored because it was one of the newer mechanics. Yep, we're going to see that in Fire and Stone. Battle Gear, I feel like there should be more element support for certain battle gears, like Fire and Power. I'm only saying that because I'm an Underworld player, duh. But that's just me. Tribeless creatures, yep, we've seen a little over 7 or so. Maybe show some continuous tribe synergy. We know that creatures train together are friends. Yes, my brother and I, we were talking about this. Ois, if he gets a retrain, he needs the fire ability because him and Dardamus became friends after the Marillion invasion. So if they want to tie that canosity together, I think that'd be really cool. How locations affect creatures and how the battle plays out. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them are kind of whatever, to be honest. I feel like locations should be pimped out. I really do. But that's me. Overworld team because it didn't feel like teamwork. I don't know, dude. There's a lot of Overworld stuff that really works. I think one of the top decks, right, in general, is Overworld Wisdom. So, being able to sacrifice a creature elements for an added bonus had a lot of potential for great designs. Yep, we already talked about that for Fire and Stone. You'd be interested in further exploring Fluid Morph. Yep, we already talked about that. Combat, Hive, Outperform, various disciplines, Invisibility, Defender, etc., etc. I'm not going to go through every single one, but I definitely was going through the list and seeing which ones caught my eye. So that question was, what game mechanics should be more explored? This one is, what mechanic do you believe should be left alone, like unchanged, remain the same? Every mechanic has its benefits, maybe focus on certain aspects such as giving their elements stronger attacks or creatures based on their disciplines, but each mechanic can only grow as the game evolves, as it is vital. Just focus on balancing and not overpowering certain concepts of the game. I couldn't have said it better myself. Just balance the game and have certain tribes have certain things. I think recklessness is fine the way it is. I agree with that. I can agree with that. Tribes, random stats, and creature designs. That should remain the same. Cool. Recklessness and exhaust should be the same. Cool. Everything should be fine the way it is. On one hand, I agree, but on the other hand, I feel like there should be some changes for the future. Strike, it's a perfect basic ability, no need to change anything. Like Invisibility Strike or Tachynom Strike. Sure. Brainwash because the Marillion storyline is finished. I sort of don't really agree with that. I think the Marillions are going to come back. Because, I mean, you don't just throw in one ability and have it for a single set. I feel like Brainwash is going to come back. Ani's coming back. That's my... I'm saying it right now. Codemaster Hard Rock 2020. Freaking Ani's coming back. Attack modifiers such as Zerium Armor and R-Bead should be the only things that do so. I don't necessarily agree. I feel like there should be other battle gear that do change certain attacks and stuff. But again, that's me. Invisibility Element X. Okay, I could get behind that. Intimidate Energy. Simple as one of the most competitive options. Yes, and it's so strange because the only one I can think of is Ketak off the top of my head. And, you know, having him with the Barithian Axe, that's a good combo. So that way you knock off 20 energy. I think that's a really fucking good effect. And it's kind of bullshit in certain battles, especially when you're battling against a Muge. Oh, that's good. It's good stuff. Infect should be left alone. I feel like there should be more Infect options. I don't play Danians, so I don't really know. The invisibility stuff, removal of elements. I think a mechanic that should be left alone is fluid morphability. I think they work nice. I think fluid morph... it's so strange because that seems to be divisive. Is people like fluid morph, people hate fluid morph, so it's like, ooh. Movement should be alone as well as the theme of the battle board. I agree. I think that should be completely fine. Danian parasites, they're a cool idea. I'd like to see them stick around and expanded upon. I really do think there should be some sort of infection special ability where it's like, oh, if you're infected, you slowly lose life or you slowly lose a discipline. Like, if this creature's infected, like they lose X amount of disciplines every turn or something along those lines. I think that'd be really cool. Defender, because it is needed to not auto-lose creatures with Swift and Range. Yes, I feel like people don't understand how good Swift and Range can actually be. Mujiks, they should be left alone. I feel like there should be more Mujiks. One thing I do want to point out, just because the Mepedians have great Mujic doesn't mean every other tribe should have great Mujic, but every tribe should have their own particular Mujic that tailors really well to their tribe. So for an example, like Song of Fury, that works really well for Underworlders, but it's not really good for something like, I don't know, a Marillion, because the Marillions don't really have fire, except for like Nuckwarn. So, that's just me. Yeah, also, hot take, Marillion should have water. All of them should just have water. No fire, no earth, no air, none of that extra BS. Just water. Okay? That's just me. I'm not sure. I know that is no help, but don't know what should be left alone. There are some people who don't know what should be left alone and stuff like that. How attack decks are built. Okay, my thing is, I think unique and all that shit should be left alone, legendary and stuff like that. I feel like there are certain decks that could be left alone. And there are cards that should be either reprinted or short printed. I think every card in the fan ban list, in my opinion, real quick, should not be reprinted. They should be stuck with that short print, like forever. Just to make them like a little extra spicy. But that's just me. Remove effects are fine as is, sure. Was never a fan of Intimidate, pretty much fully explored, but it was pretty much fully explored. Yeah, sure. Strike should be changed, or rather should remain the same. Okay. Movement should remain the same. Yep. The rest of these I sort of agree with. Yeah, sure. Now the next question, and I did, like I said, I'm skipping a lot of responses because I don't want this video to be like over an hour long. What particular mechanic should be removed altogether? So a mechanic that can actually just do away with, scrap it, no more. It all plays a vital role. Balance certain aspects so that way there's not a cheat code. If you will win the game that it completely limits the extent of the competition. Sure. Fluid Morph should go away because there isn't other mutating abilities. Like I said, there was a joke answer that I had that should be like Pyromorph or Terramorph or what would be a good Air Morph thing? I guess Air Morph, sure. Or Tunnel Morph. Or a Turbulent. Turbulomorph? Turbomorph? Whatever. Brainwash creatures should go away. Some of them should stay. I like Blades. But I don't use them for Brainwash. Support 5. It is simply an outdated mechanic. I feel like if you really step up your competition, 5 should not be what you should strive for. Nothing. The game is good the way it is. I love the game, so. Fluid Morph. Something about this ability feels overpowered. If music becomes a big factor in the game or in a meta of Fluid Morph, should be an oppressive ability. Like I said, we already talked about Fluid Morph a bunch, so I'm just going to go right through. Recklessness on basic creatures could just ruin some cool creatures, but keep it on War Beasts, though. I feel like certain creatures should have Recklessness, some of them shouldn't. I don't think there should be as many Reckless creatures in the Underworld. I mean, I do get it because they're violent and stuff, but at the same time, I feel like... I don't know. That's me. Nandrin Fluid Morpher's foe is too strong. He keeps players from using an entire tribe. That is too strong. You know what? Let's, Fluid Morpher's foe. Okay, I'm so curious. No. I'm just trying to look up what this card actually is. Okay. That's funny. It should be like one of the first cards that pops up. Ah, here we go. Fluid Morpher's foe. When an opposing creature gains a mutual counter, place a mutual counter on Nandrin Fluid Morpher's foe. Toss a Magician. Target creature gains 5 energy. Target 2. Dispel Marillion Music. Well, it's made to attack Marillions, so I really do get it, but there should be, like, certain things in every tribe that target certain tribes. I mean, there's Underworld versus Overworld, I know that much. But Underworlders seem to, like, really, really target Overworlders, but you know what? That's me. That's just me. Legendary Support and Fluid Morph should be removed. Wow, like I said, Fluid Morph, very divisive. Okay, so this next point, somebody made a point, and this is involving one of the workers on the game, Dragonix. So, for those of you who don't know, Dragonix is a person who is working on the card game right now, and did back in the day. So, let's read what this says. Dragonix said that Brainwash was a mistake, but I don't agree at all. I really don't think there should be something that needs to be removed. But just to make life a little bit easier, and just because I don't want there to be, just because I don't want there should be cards that support it, anything I want stat. Oh, okay. They want stat failed removed, because maybe Gantrack can play with it, but come on, it is terrible. So they want stat fails removed. I feel like stat fails, on one hand, if you're playing a deck that relies on having really crappy disciplines, I feel like on one hand, that's an interesting strategy, but you should be able to protect yourself with that. I feel like a lot of cards with stat fail can't protect themselves. But that's me. Infect should go away? No. Fluid Morph or Defender, probably. I like Defender and Fluid Morph, like I already made my point. Nothing? Sure. Stats. There should be a set stat with no changes so that way they could create literal better versions of the cards. So I want to pose this question for the comments down below. If you were to have set stats for your cards, would you want the maximum stat, or would you all be comfortable with the idea of having a general middle-of-the-road stat for everybody instead of having the blown out of proportion, overly strong versions of set cards. Wow, lots of fluid morphs. Holy crap. Man, there are people who do not like it. Oh, this one. Mirage. I think Mirage is such a cool idea. However, I feel like there should be more than just one Mirage on the board at a time. I feel like there should be multiple Mirages, but that's me. Zamul should be removed because he just prevents effects. I guess the same thing could be said about Nandrin, Fluid Morpher's foe. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. And last time I checked, he's unique. And plus, like, I don't know. I feel like you can easily destroy him very well if you attack him, because a lot of people have range and swift and stuff like that. So, I don't know. If you know what you're doing, like, off the get-go, then I don't know. That's me. I think energy intimidation should be removed. It makes the game unfun against every intimidate. Burn decks, you don't even get to play the game against those decks. Again, I've never played a burn deck strategy. I might try it out sometime, just because I'm so curious on how that functions. And yeah, energy intimidation is definitely the most overpowered one. But I definitely don't think it should be removed. I feel like it should be on certain creatures. Ketak, again, very good example. If you can add a new mechanic, what would you like to see and why? Again, I'm burning through all these questions, so I'm not going to say that now. Just for the rest of the video. More lore, sure. It'd be cool to see a music, location, or ability that allows you to swap between other creatures' abilities that you control, like having KO take Tachyon Strike for the turn, or something creative like that. That reminds me a lot of Iparu. There's Iparu Metallic Spy who essentially can clone himself to another creature. I would add some mechanic where you would have X amount of discipline, gain an element. Ooh, that would be cool. That'd be really cool. That would give a lot of players incentive to give more of a shit about stats. Attack effects, more depth into certain attacks. I agree. Have unique interactions and abilities between specific tribes and creatures. Like I said, tribe synergy, that'd be, just hop on that. Tribe specific attacks, that'd be cool. A mechanic that allows creatures to swap places, or a mechanic that allows creatures to use music from certain creatures, like a hive mind sort of ability, like what the Marillions had. I feel like some of that does work. I know there's a Mepenian that can take magicians from other creatures. Yeah, again, I feel like there should, like going back to like that last one, saying there should be more tribe synergy. Stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool. Creatures that require movement to trigger special abilities, so you would have to move more than one creature a turn to combo certain abilities. I think that would be really cool. Like Windwalker, if you like move like a certain creature with air, you gain 20 speed or something like that. That'd be so cool. Oh, that'd be really cool. Yeah, so something like that. I'll leave that to the game development, game devs. Sure, that's fair. A mechanic around equipped creatures' battle gear like the show did would be really nice. I don't know how to respond to that one. Not my job. Sure. Mastery, a disciplined version of Fluid Morph. That would be cool. Very cool. This one actually comes from A-Game. Shout out to you, A-Game. Love you, dude. I have many fan cards that I'd like to see in the game. I do know there's a few fan cards that you've done. Good on you. I would love to save a creature from dying ability, making it necessary to attack a certain monster first. Sure. Like, in Codemaster Hotek's match, when he had that one creature Tom decided to destroy at the very end. I think that'd be something like that would be interesting. But I feel like reviving all your creatures with only 5 energy each, that could be not too good. There's actually a live feed going on the Discord right now talking about Fluid Morph on how it should be redone, but I'm not going to get into Again, I can't read Spanish, and this one's actually in French, but I'm not going to go through it. Maybe something different with the attack deck life defense card. Like defense cards. Defense cards would be cool. Like I said, I feel like it should be a thing. I really like shape-shifting mechanics in other TCGs, like Choose One effects in Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering. They cut a card's overall power slightly, but in exchange for greater versatility, allowing them to adapt to a current situation. I'd love to see something implemented like that in Chaotic. Maybe something like a creature could choose between temporarily increasing either stats or energy at the beginning of each battle. You would choose energy every time. You would choose energy every time. Don't deny it. It's true. I feel like that could get a little out of hand. Some kind of mechanic that would help make Marillions more playable. I have no problems with Marillions. I have a decent time with them. Another 4-element creature, similar to Heptad, maybe one in each tribe. Heptad's old squad, maybe, who knows. On one hand, sure, but Heptad's kind of special, though, because he's seen the Kothica. At least as far as we're aware. And that's why he has, like, all the elements. I feel like certain creatures... I'll sit on that one. Energy damage should have kind of randomization. Oh, energy damage should have some kind of randomization. Like, if you take a certain amount of damage, it causes an effect? Maybe. Element supports, like Underworld, get 5 for each creature you got. Cyranox has a similar effect, where it's like if all your creatures have fire, he has like Fire 5 or something like that. Yeah, cool idea. I'm not a game designer, but maybe a way to utilize stats as a resource. Yeah, that'd be different. That'd be interesting. Perhaps a mechanic that focuses on attack depth search. So yeah, like searching effects and stuff like that. I think really cool. God, there's so many fucking responses. You know what? I'm just gonna move on to the next one. Again, I don't want a super long video. This video is already about a little over 30 minutes as is. Moving on to the next question. Would you want the show to come back with the game, or would you rather have the game? 83.3% of people said they want Season 4 and more, and 16.7% said that they'd rather just have the game. So a majority of people want the show. So, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so this one's is hot. This is a hot one. Should the codes return? 61.1% of people said yes, they should return. 16.7% of people said no. However, 22.2% of people said yes, but with certain restrictions. So what I mean by that is if you have a card and you enter the code, it will pop up saying this account has it. Can you like AR scan the card in your hand? And if you can, cool, the code should return to your account or something along those lines. Or like, again, certain creatures have the same exact stat. But I feel like that could get a little out of hand where you can get a collection really fast. So I feel like a code should be used like X amount of times, maybe? I don't know. I'll leave that to the development. Next question. Should the varying stats return? 80.6% of people said yes. 19.4% of people said no. I agree. I do want varying stats. I think that makes the game very interesting. What is the most important deck of the game? 61.1% of people said your attack deck versus the 38.9% of people who say locations. I agree. I do think attacks are a lot more important than locations, which is why I said I think locations should have a lot of work done to them. Should each tribe have their own gimmick, or should there be some balance? An example, Mappedians specializing in music, whereas Overworlders having team support, etc., etc. 80.6% of people said yes, gimmicks make it spicy, and 19.4% of people said no, it all must be perfectly balanced. Everyone should have some sort of everything. Again, I feel like every tribe should have some sort of gimmick. Should there be an official ban list? 61.1% of people said yes. And 38.9% of people said no. There are certain cards where I feel like, yes, that should be banned for certain reasons, but they'll figure it out. So my next question, should they reprint sets or make update to releases and re-release the previous sets in Legacy similar to Yu-Gi-Oh? So what I mean by this question is, so Yu-Gi-Oh has certain sets where it's like, oh, we're reprinting all these cards from the old school game and you can get them. Something like that. To which people said 21, or rather, wow, I misread that whole thing. I just skipped to the next, to the previous thing. My bad. 58.3% of people said they want a legacy print, that they should just print stuff similar to the premium packs. Whereas 41.7% of people said that there should be reprints in future sets. So similar to, like, let's have Kaor in a future set, like classic Kaor, but with a different set label. Yeah. Interesting results. Moving on. Should they print a set of cards that were previously exclusive to the online game and show in a future set? 94.4% of people said yes. 5.6% of people said no. To those 5.6% of people, I gotta say, I like Screamer too much. So, okay, another one where I got various responses. How would you have the online game function when the game returns? Just, I think, like the real show and some of the previous game, the player has the options. So just like the old game then? Same format as usual. I never played it online when the franchise was running because I was a little boy, but I love everything about the online setup from what I've been told. Sure, exactly how it was. Cool. I think it would work best as a free downloadable game on app or Steam. It would make it a lot easier to connect with friends and such, and there would be achievements on Steam and items you can get. Also, players can utilize the marketplace as well as make mods. Ooh, I don't know about that last one. I think about having models for the characters come out of the cards or something like that of the sort would be super cool too. I agree with that last one. But having mods, I don't really know. Similar to Duel Links, but still similar to how it was before. Yes, that's a good idea. Same as it did prior, sure. It would need a pure overhaul, in my opinion. Possibly putting it on a platform like Steam or Epic Game Store. Yeah. The same way, but with no glitches. Yeah, every game should not have glitches, you know? Yeah. Class platform, collectible card game. Sure. An offline camping mode. An AI can play correctly, where you could give a deck and practice offline against it, puzzles and competitive ranks. I feel like an offline chaotic experience would be so good. It'd be so cool. Exactly as before, sure. A lot of people are saying that. I'm trying to find ones like that have like long, interesting discussion style. I would love a free-to-play game with mobile capability. It makes it a lot more convenient to play, and I feel like it's necessary to establish the game in the current online TCG industry. I said this in a previous video on what Chaotix should do. A mobile version of the game where you can walk around and scan the creatures and play online through your phone is such a good idea. I mean, in the original game, evidently, according to one of the play manuals, there was a app for it. I don't really know how true that is. I don't know how many people actually got the app or if it was a thing. But something to think about, just saying. Same as before, but not with the codes because they would become a logistical nightmare. I don't want to remember Rather, I don't remember much from when I played online, but maybe a kind of program with today's kind of technology could work. Again, a lot of people want the codes to return. Just go with some of my ideas or other ideas that you read online, whatever. Like I did before, I only remember the good things when I was younger, but also on console. That would make my life playing so much easier. I would play a version where I could play online on the Nintendo Switch in a heartbeat. Yes, okay, I had this idea, and I meant to say this in that other video. How cool would it be if you had a Nintendo Switch version of Chaotic, where it's like, when they show, when they say dock your scanner, you dock your Switch in the little port thing for the TV? Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. I think that'd be cool. That's me. Yeah, that'd be cool. Very, very cool. I don't know, because I never explored the online game. Again, that's fair. Some people didn't. I wouldn't change much from what we had before. Okay. Wow, a lot of the same stuff. I scarcely remember the online game, but I would hope the online game aspires to be have the functionality and profit margins for a free-to-play online game similar to MTG Arena. That'd be cool. Codes were a fine idea, have the same system, and incentivizes people to go out and buy cards so they can play online and in person. Yes, and I fucking love that. Like any online card game like Hearthstone. Chaotic came first, so that was a joke. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, Chaotic did come out first with that sort of idea. But I think Hearthstone, MTG Arena, stuff like that, go for it. Would you want an online Chaotic experience via game console? So like PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, or PC, Mac, whatever. Which some people argue computers are not game consoles, so I'm not gonna touch that. You guys can argue about it down below if you guys want to have a discussion about it. But anyway, 77.8% of people said yes, they want a video game online experience for Chaotic, and 22.2% said no. Fine with me. What type of merchandise would you want to see for the game? So the options were figures and plushies, tops, hats, and when I say tops, I mean shirts, phone cases, and jewelry. A whopping 58.3% of people said they want to see figures and plushies. I agree. I love figures. I collect them. 22.2% of people said phone cases, which that actually surprised me. Yeah, I think that'd be super cool, like a scanner phone case. That'd be really cool. 13.9% of people said that they want to see t-shirts and tops. And 5.6% of people said they wanted hats similar to this one. What is your least favorite tribe? Okay. I like this one because the answers are interestingly a little similar. So, 44.4% of people said their least favorite tribe was Danian. Then it moves on to Marillion with 27.8, 11.1 for Overworld, and a tie of 8.3% between Tribeless and Underworld. Strangely enough, no one selected Mepedian. Sounds like a lot of people like Mepedians. Okay, what tribe should be buffed? Okay, so this one's a little more varied. It's interesting because we have a little bit of everything with this one. I did not include Tribeless in this one, by the way, because Tribeless was not fully explored. So, 30.6% of people said that they want to see Danians get buffed to incentivize people to play them. I agree. 27.8 said Marillions should be buffed. I think some of them should. Absolutely. Ani should definitely have a buff. Seriously. Because he's the freaking leader of the Marillions, and he's supposed to be evil and menacing. I mean, him transforming into a crazy kaiju is a cool idea, but I feel like it should be slightly easier if you really want to make him more versatile. Again, but I didn't have a problem playing him, so. Next being Underworld at 16.7%. That should be buffed. I agree and disagree with this one, and that sounds strange because I'm an Underworld player. I would love to see them kick a lot of ass. I really do. But Dawn of Param did give them a lot of stuff. But in Fire and Stone, we were going to see more love for attacks and stuff. So, I don't know. But if we could get Cyanox. 13.9% of people said Overworld should be buffed. I don't know about that one. And 11.1% of people said Mepedian should be buffed. No comment. And the last question is, would you honestly, in your day-to-day life, outside of jobs and stuff, would you actually devote a lot of time to the game? Only one response actually made it through between yes and no, and 100% of people said yes. They will devote a lot of time. And that is so cool to me. I really want to see that. Yeah, so with that being said, that was my chaotic questionnaire. I will be sending this to Bryan Gannon on Twitter and DragonX, because maybe they could get some insight on this and maybe they can develop something from it. And another thing, if you guys see this thing right here, not the lighter, but this gray thing with the spikes, yeah, that's my K.O. the Fierce cosplay. Yeah, so with that being said, another thing I want to talk about, some updates. So, there are some videos that are coming out, I promise, but I did pick up this K.O. figure that was released with Chaotic, so another piece of Chaotic merch that I have now. But I do want to throw something out there. I really like the idea of these figures because another thing a lot of people don't mention, they could be removed from their base, but they have this ugly-ass peg hole. And on this base, as you can see, there's like 3 little slots. You can put them in the middle, and you can like rotate it too. So let's say you have multiple figures. You can have them standing like on the same one, but at the same time, why would you? The pack that it comes with is Dawn of Param Secrets. I pulled a lore from that. So if you guys want to see a collection video on my Supers and Ultras as well as Rares, let me know down below. And I'll do a video on it, because that would be fun. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Oh, now that I think about it, take it away, Screamer.